Welcome to TalkFCB and welcome back here to the channel, guys. Yet more news today, yet more transfer news that is going to be on the agenda. In today's video, we have three massive stories, three top quality players at the top of their game. We are going to be discussing each of them in relation to Barcelona, starting with Matthijs Ligt, moving on to Neymar and finishing off with Antoine Griezmann. It is going down. It starts right here. Let's do this! And right on cue, today's video is coming to you courtesy of the OneFootball app, which you can find to download in the description down below. The reason that I want to do that is simply because they are fantastic to keep you right up to date with news. Obviously, I try and do videos as often as I possibly can, but in between those kind of windows, the OneFootball app will keep you updated with everything you need to know. But starting right here, we move on to Matthijs Ligt. That's a massive, massive signing that we have in our sights that we've been trying to get over the line. But as of right now, it is not happening. As has been the case now for several days, even moving into weeks, this transfer right here has stalled. It's well and truly stopped, and Cat Radio basically confirmed last night that that is the case. Right now, nothing is happening. The negotiations have come to a complete standstill between the two parties. There's been no further contact, and Barcelona right now are just sitting there thinking, what can we do? Because they feel right now they have really put in their maximum offer. And this isn't to say this deal is done, that it's dead. Absolutely not. This deal, I'm sure, will keep dragging on and keep dragging on, but as of right now, there's no movement. Barcelona, like I say, feel they've made the best possible offer that they can do for the services of Matthijs Ligt in terms of bonuses, in terms of agent fees, in terms of the wages, of course, of the player himself, and the transfer fee, which isn't really a problem with Ajax. The big problem, though, is those personal terms. They will not go any higher than they already have done, and for De Ligt, and more importantly here, Mino Raiola is the man who's pushing and pushing and pushing for more money, like we really did fear that he would. He's really grinding this out for everything that he can get. And Barcelona, they're saying no, we're not going any higher. De Ligt and Raiola, they feel that more money should be on the table, and as of right now, it's just not happening. It's also been reported that in the past few days, just to complicate things a bit further, it's not only Man United's offer who's higher than Barcelona's, it's not only Man United who are very interested in signing De Ligt this summer, but also in the past few days, reports have been circulating that Paris Saint-Germain are now in on this deal. They want to get involved, they want to join the bidding war, which should provide there yet more trouble for Barcelona, more financial power joining this deal, inflating the price, and we may just end up being priced out of this one if, and it's a big if it comes down to money. That's the big situation here. There are clubs, no doubt about it, Man United, PSG, who can and will pay more than we can. But at the same time, is that the road that Matthijs Ligt wants to go down? If Raiola's got anything to do with it, you do feel like you'll try and push him to go with the money, but at the same time, the will, in the end, as this one drags on, it will rest with the player. And it would be a shame, I feel, if De Ligt went to PSG, if he went to Manchester United. I don't really like the idea of us being held to gunpoint, really, by this super agent Mino Raiola, especially when he himself is actually banned from any activity within football right throughout the summer. That's the kind of agent that we're dealing with right now. There's no doubting at all Matthijs Ligt's quality. He's a phenomenal player. He's a fantastic talent that really will grow and improve over the next 10 years. He could be at the very top of his game. But right now, like I say, we can't be held at gunpoint. We really aren't going to be forced here into a deal that we either cannot do or simply don't want to. We have our price for Matthijs Ligt in our mind right now, and as it stands, there is nothing further ongoing. There's no additional talks. Things have stalled. Will they restart? We're going to have to wait and see. Which makes it all the more interesting that my next port of call is Neymar Jr. Now, on Tuesday, it was sensationally reported by Rack1. We did a video on it, of course, discussing that kind of rumour, that apparently things had begun, the wheels had started moving around the possibility of bringing Neymar back to the Camp Nou. And apparently, a deal including Dembele and cash was being discussed, and it could be on the table. But let's not forget here, Rack1 were the same outlet that reported that Valverde would be fired from his job. And of course, on that story and that report, they were proven horribly, horribly wrong, and I think there we were right to sort of brush off this rumour as just yet another one of those things that happens with Barcelona right throughout the summer. However, since that time, the Neymar rumours have begun to appear from other sources as well. Not just Rack1 here, they were the only source on Tuesday, but right now, other outlets are starting to get involved, and also some reliable faces to say the least. For instance, if you take this morning, Neymar himself appeared right on the front cover of Sport this morning with the headline, Neymar on the table, meaning claiming there basically that suddenly Neymar could be an option for Barcelona this summer. They then go on to say in that particular report that Neymar himself has offered his return to Barcelona. He misses the club, he regrets leaving. We've heard all this before, of course, but he right now wants to come back, and the club are considering the possibility to bring him to the Camp Nou. They say the club are fully aware of the difficulties of any deal would have. They say our bad relationship with PSG is not going to help things. Neymar's got an extremely high salary, which we'll come on to in a minute, and of course, it may have a mixed reaction from the fans given the way he left, but also, Neymar on the cover does sell papers. So at the same time, I was sort of thinking, well, you know, it's another rumour, they're trying to sell papers, these kind of things do happen right throughout the transfer window, especially in Spain. But then it was this man. It was this man right here, Marcelo Bechler. Some people will recognise him, some people will not. I want to tell you here now, this man got my attention because he was the man who in the summer of 2017 originally broke the news that Neymar would be heading to Paris Saint-Germain, which at the time was an unbelievable story, and at the time he looked like a crazy man. He looked like somebody who just made something up. It was never going to happen. It was impossible. It seemed really, really far-fetched. But it happened. And at the same time, right here and now, Marcelo Bechler got involved last night on these Neymar rumours. He stated, first and foremost, that it is going to be, and it would be, a very, very complex operation with many factors to consider. But he said, this is not impossible. It's not an impossible deal. It can be done, even though people will deny it. This is something that is on the table, and if you overcome those obstacles which are in the way, Neymar could, in theory, return to Barcelona. But he did come up with some big points, both for negatives and positives with Neymar returning to Barcelona. The first one there is a big negative. Neymar's relationship with Bartomeu and the current board at Barcelona is very, very strained. Neymar actually almost dislikes the board as much as we do. He left on a very bad note. He wasn't happy with the treatment. He wasn't happy with an unpaid loyalty bonus. He still believes that he's owed 26 million euros by the board themselves that still hasn't been paid, and potentially we may need to sort that out before we brought him back. The second huge stumbling block though, and the big one for me, especially given what we just discussed with Ligt, Neymar's wages are colossal. He would demand around 30 million euros per year, which would be the second highest salary in the football world, only second to Lionel Messi. And like I say, if we can't afford Ligt, if we can't really afford to raise our offer for Matthijs Ligt, can we really afford here to find that kind of money for Neymar Jr.? And the final point here is a big one as well, in the other direction. They say here, Marcelo Bechler, MD, have come out as well, and Sport, that the dressing room and the key players at Barcelona want this move. Lionel Messi, Luis Suarez, Gerard Piqué have all been mentioned as being fully behind this. They back this move. They want Neymar to return. They believe that Neymar coming back would be a massive, massive asset to the squad, and that is a big driving force behind these possible rumours and the possible return of Neymar Jr. And that right now is where we are. Certainly it started as just a mindless rumour. It started as something which was extremely, extremely unlikely. I would still say even now it's very unlikely. It's a very, very difficult thing to pull off, and it has many, many different implications, many factors, many different obstacles to overcome. But at the same time right now, we have to entertain the possibility that things are being discussed. That's all that's happening right now. Little discussions, little whispers here and there, nothing crazy. But we got to watch this space. We've got to keep up to date with it. We've got to recognise what's going on. And right now, Neymar back to Barca is something that is very, very unlikely, but there is a very small chance. I will say that. And so, finally, where does that leave Antoine Griezmann with regard to Barcelona? He, at the start of this summer, at the end of the season, he was seen as the man who is going to come in this summer, 28 years old, in the prime of his career right now. He was going to come in a year after rejecting us and actually reinforce our forward line. But could it now be Neymar? Could it be somebody very, very different to what we originally expected? Antoine Griezmann now, according to the Barcelona media, is about 50-50. Nobody really knows right now what's going to happen. Barcelona, in some areas, believe that he's going to come, that he is going to join. They do want to go down that road. In other quarters, though, they believe that Griezmann is not going to join Barcelona. The big reason, apparently, behind if he didn't join Barcelona would be, again, that dressing room. The key players in the dressing room are reacting very differently to Griezmann than they are to Neymar. With Neymar, they're fully behind it. They know him as a person. They're friends with him. They want him to come back. They would gladly accept him and forget what happened in the past. But with Griezmann, they don't want to do that. Last summer, of course, Griezmann rejected the chance to join Barcelona, and apparently that did not go well with the key members of the dressing room and they do not want him to sign this summer. And as of right now, much like the De Ligt deal, it's all quiet. Nothing is happening. Perhaps we're doing all this as a negotiation tactic. Maybe we're trying to drive the price of Griezmann down. Maybe we're trying to drive down his wages as well. And just because there's not really many competitors out there for Griezmann's signature, maybe we're in a good position right now. We can just hold off. We can wait a little. We can let things slide. And right now, it is uncertain what is going to happen with Griezmann. Certainly, he's a player of interest, but as of before, much like De Ligt, it's not quite happening. It's not quite moving along. And as of right now, it's very much undecided what's going to happen at FC Barcelona this summer. And so that there, guys, is the roundup with regard to De Ligt, Griezmann, and Neymar Jr. Massive names, massive transfer fees, massive money, no doubt about it, but lots to discuss and lots to think about really as we decide who we need this summer. Who do we want? Who do we need to get? Let me know in the comments down below. Obviously Valverde remains. Obviously it's not a good thing, but at the same time, we have to move on. We have to look at other things. We have to try and think here about what we're going to do next season, even if many of these players who come in are there for the first season under Valverde, but potentially at the end of next season, Valverde may not be here anymore. And then, of course, these players will still be at the club. Life will go on, will continue after Ernesto Valverde, no doubt about that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, guys. Thank you, as always, for joining me. I'll be back soon, but until then, as always, Visca El Barça!